The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm curious why the members opposite would be opposed to transparency in the transportation system. Is it because when they were in office, their infrastructure plan consisted of fake lakes and gazebos? Are they suggesting that transparency in building infrastructure is not needed so that they can continue to build fake lakes and gazebo and pretend that that actually helps Canadians?
Honourable Member for Battle River Crowfoot.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Well, you know, when it comes to the legacy of the previous Conservative government, we had a legacy of actually building things for this country, thousands of projects that were built across this country. We saw economic stimulus that built infrastructure that actually served the best interests of Canadians. Yet it's that member that her government has overseen a multi-billion-dollar boondoggle in the Canadian Infrastructure Bank, Madam Speaker, that has built how many projects? Zero. So, Madam Speaker, I find it rather rich that that member, instead of looking and asking for transparency, so specifically, let's get back to this bill. Because I think that this bill highlights exactly how hypocritical and out of touch that member and those Liberals are. And it's the fact that we have a backlog of over 50,000 complaints when it comes to the Canadian Transportation Agency. And it's taking more than 18 months for those complaints to be heard. So, Madam Speaker, when it comes to transparency and accountability, those Liberals fall so far short of the mark that I don't think they know whether they're coming or going, because just like the Canada Infrastructure Bank, they have overseen failure after failure. And, Madam Speaker, I think that it's time for real leadership in this country that can bring accountability back to our transportation sector. And when it comes to infrastructure, let's be a country that builds again.
Questions et commentaires. Questions and comments. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Government House Leader.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. You know, I've always thought about bringing back the Homer Simpson Award, and I really believe that the Conservatives are so much out of touch. Unbelievable that they'd be so critical of the Canada Infrastructure Bank. Does the member have any concept, any idea whatsoever about the tens of billions of dollars, of which a third approximately is coming from government support in terms of the national level, and the projects that are out there that are going to be helping millions of Canadians? Why is the Conservative Party so naive to try to mislead Canadians as if the Canada Infrastructure Bank is a bad idea? It shows and demonstrates very clearly just how reckless the Conservative Party of Canada is today.
Honourable Member for Battle River Crowfoot.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker, and it's interesting that there seems to be no other Liberals that are capable of standing up and defending the government's record other than the often on his feet member from Winnipeg. But that aside, Madam Speaker, we're trying to talk about the transportation sector here, which is a. But I get why they're so afraid to talk about it, because Canadians are so disgusted at the Liberals' management of something that is directly within federal jurisdiction. So when it comes back to what that member asked about the Canadian Infrastructure Bank, Madam Speaker, let's look at the facts. Infrastructure is meant to be built in this country. Under the Liberals, they have been unable to do it. When Conservatives are in charge, we'll be a country that builds again to ensure that Canadians have the world-class infrastructure that is required to ensure that we can serve Canadians' best interests, build prosperity for the future of our country. The Liberals have failed. Conservatives will bring home a Canada that builds things again.